First off, I want to thank everybody who commented on that video because it just came over me when I saw that Astro van for sale to stop and take a look, and it has since gotten my gears spinning. So we are going to first start out by taking a look at my meetup with the guy, looking at the interior, and then talking with him about what issues there may be and what the engine and the interior look like.
So it's right at 150,000.
Okay. Just get the door inside. Yeah, I've been looking into Astro vans. I mean, and I hear that this is typical of the doors peeling and okay, yeah, 150. And the ABS light isn't on. I guess the ABS lights that were on or something.
Yeah, they had problems with that.
Okay. These seats, I peered in. Can I sit in it? Can I sit in it?
You can do anything.
Okay. I noticed that the seats when I was looking in are in really good condition.
Yeah, they just need to be cleaned.
Yeah.
Good,
Start it.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh wow, that's a vroom vroom.
Yeah.
What kind of gas mileage does it get?
The best I remember is right maybe 18 to 20.
Okay.
With it being all-wheel drive, it probably didn't get as good as the two-wheel drive, but I think
Sure.
even the two-wheel drives didn't get very good.
Yeah. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it runs really pretty good. And like I say, the transmission, we've never had transmission trouble.
Okay. Have you had anything else replaced on it?
The transfer case has been rebuilt once, and it's had new leaf springs on the back.
Okay.
There's a piece inside of the engine that's called the fuel injector spider. They call it a spider, and it looks like a spider. It has a central valve body and then a bunch of tubes that go out and hook to each individual injector.
Okay.
And that went out, and we had to replace that, which that is a common thing to have fail. And it was probably replaced about 20,000 miles ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
The battery looks good.
Yeah, the battery's not very old.
Yeah. Looks like the one that I've had from sort of sticker there. Yeah. August 2020.
Well, I guess so. It is 4 years old.
Yeah. And the tires look good.
They only last 5 years.
What's that?
They usually only last 5
I know.
years.
So the door handles. Have you had issues with the door handles?
And that one won't unlock.
Okay. Maybe it's locked. Oh, so it was just locked.
Yeah, they're just locked.
Does this have power locks?
It does. And when you put it into gear and start driving, they all lock.
They all
and then
lock.
when you put it in park, then they all unlock.
Oh, okay.
And most of them unlock, but they won't work with this key fob, and they won't work with the lock button, which I don't know if the buttons are bad or if there's something else wrong. I don't know.
Okay. And so there's AC and heat vents right there.
There's only AC in the back. There's heat right here and right here. And
Okay.
that's the only heat to the back. But it does. This one does have air conditioning in the back.
Okay. So yeah, just it needs some TLC.
Yes.
Inside.
Absolutely. There's a little cable winch that goes on the bottom that holds the spare tire.
Okay.
And it broke a long time ago.
Okay.
So we just threw that in here.
Right. And then is this, does this open at all? The glove
No,
box?
that's an airbag.
Okay.
This is the only
Okay.
compartment in it.
Gotcha.
And I have an extra fan belt in one of these back here.
So that door's in good condition. Need some glove. Oh. Dang, I can't even get back here. Woo. Holy crap, that's a tight fit. My fat butt. Okay. Turn on the light. Oh, has anybody come and look at it?
We haven't had many come and look at it, but I've had somebody contact me and offer on it.
Oh, have you? Okay.
And that was sight unseen. So I don't know, other than I'm guessing that they already have plans of what to do with one. So.
Oh, and there's extra cubby there. Ashtrays, don't get that anymore. And the lights work, that's cool. I cleaned my ceiling with it's in a yellow can. It works so well. Super
really?
easy. Yeah. So this is just falling down, or just needs to be shoved back up there?
Well, and I think there's a little cover, and the cover was in here somewhere.
Okay.
There's just a cover that goes
oh,
over it.
like that?
Cover, yeah, that
okay.
cover fell off a long time
Gotcha.
ago.
Okay.
And it was in here. It wouldn't stay back up on there.
So
I didn't push the issue, but
the windows work and everything?
yeah, the windows roll up and down. The only thing that we've really had a lot of trouble with, and I haven't spent the time to try and troubleshoot it and fix it, is them power locks. Now, the back, where this has the lift gate.
Yeah, the Dutch door there.
Yeah, that is all electric. And that part doesn't work either. I actually have it to where you have to just grab a hold of two rods.
Okay.
And pull them. I guess you have to pull them together, and then that will open.
Okay.
But
Lexi.
I think that's all fixable.
Oh, it goes this way. Look in there. Ugh. Can you help me out, Lex? I can't quite. Let me see. This is my niece, Lexi. We went and did some rock hounding. So these seem to be, I mean, they just do that.
Yeah, and
that's what I've noticed in the other vans.
Really common problem.
Okay. And the seatbelts, I mean, that's just broken plastic.
Yeah, the
okay.
plastic brakes.
Okay.
They used to stay up in that plastic brakes.
Okay. Mirrors, that's great. I like it so far. It was hard to see through the window, huh, Lex? Just needs some TLC, some love.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. All right, I want to see through the doors here. How do we do this? So this one is we have to open it special somehow,
Yeah,
or
you have to open it from the inside.
Oh, from the inside.
Uh-huh.
Lexi, are you able to open that from the inside? Can you crawl back there and open that door?
It might be pretty hard. I can get.
Oh, really? It
takes a lot of strength to pull those rods.
Oh, does it?
Uh-huh.
Let me
But
see.
I can do that if you want.
Let me. Okay, so I see what he's saying. What rods are it? Is it this one?
Yeah, so you pull that one, and then this other piece you have to, it's still hooked, you rotate it so that they're going together, and then it'll unlock them.
Okay, let me see. So was that a handle before?
No, it's
that
all
was
electric.
Oh, it was only electric.
All of the parts are right here. And like I say, I haven't ever troubleshot it and tried to figure out exactly why. I know that down inside of here, there's two contacts for a negative and a positive. But when this door is shut, it makes contact so that this will unlock because there's an electronic lock in here that makes it so this door will open. Yeah.
So these, I love the
Yeah,
Dutch.
and it's
Oh.
locked. It won't.
Oh.
You have to take this panel off to open it.
Oh.
And then, like I say, whatever's wrong with the electronics, that's the only thing I didn't ever like about this is when it malfunctions. Most of them have the two doors.
Yeah.
And they're all mechanical. But
Okay.
this one's all electric.
It's got a great amount of space.
Yeah, it was really roomy. Spark plugs are probably, well, they're about 20,000 miles because they were the same time.
20,000 miles ago? Okay. So the all-wheel drive, you said works fine?
The all-wheel drive works good. The transfer case probably has 50 or 60,000 miles since it was rebuilt.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually rebuilt by the Chevy dealership by Gus Paulus. They
Okay.
were an old Chevy dealership.
Yeah, I recognize the name from when I was a kid.
Yep.
Gus Paulus. Are they still around?
I don't know.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. I haven't heard it.
Yeah. So then the only other thing is that tailpipe, the muffler, the end of the muffler rotted off and the tailpipe fell down.
Okay.
The brakes on the back are noisy, and I put brake pads on it, but I think because it sat for so long, I think the discs got really rusty.
Okay.
And stuff. And I drove it to Salt Lake and back a couple of weeks ago. They've shined up a little bit, but they're still kind of rough. And so I don't know how much that affects the wear on those pads.
Right.
Whether it grinds them off real fast or not. So it might need some brake work.
So this van has always been in Utah.
Always.
So the
well,
rust,
I don't know where it was before.
but for 6 months of its life.
Yeah.
But the rust situation looks good because it's not been in the wet weather, the wet state.
Yeah.
So if I'm interested in this, would you be willing to let me take it to a mechanic?
Yeah.
To see what, just like to have an overhaul done on it?
Uh-huh.
I mean, not today, but you'd be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other two things that I wanted you to be aware of is, and it's really common on Chevys, is the rear main seal leaks. And so all it does is just drip a little bit here and there. So,
now, are you talking the back door? Or I don't know what the...
No, it's in the engine.
In the engine, okay.
The engine has a crankshaft that turns the transmission.
Okay.
And there's a seal between the engine and transmission. And it's really, really common on Chevrolets for that to start to leak.
Okay.
And it just drips, and it's actually leaked for probably 70 or 80,000 miles.
Okay.
And it wasn't bad enough for us to even worry about.
Okay. Is that the only thing that leaks?
As far as I remember, that's the only thing that really leaks.
Are these newer headlights? They look newer. I mean, maybe they just aged better than these.
Well, these are glass.
Okay.
Well, maybe they are plastic, but these, for whatever reason, on these,
they oxidize.
Did fade. Yeah.
Okay.
And then also, on the steering on General Motors, they have they call them idler arms. And what they do is they hold all of the steering linkage up and support the weight of the steering linkage, but they have to be able to pivot side to side when you're steering. And the bushings that they ride on wear out. And I do know that they are worn out on
the bushings.
Yeah, those idler arms.
Okay.
And you can buy them anywhere from $35 a piece all the way up to $150.
Is that where the cam arm is? The cam, is it the cam arm? I don't know. I had the exact.
They call it a drag link.
Okay.
And then the tie rods.
Tie rods, okay.
And then the pitman arm is what actually hooks to the steering box that controls from your steering wheel down to all that. But I know those are wore out.
Okay.
And so what that does is just allows you to have a little bit more play in the steering than you should. And it also causes a vibration. If you hit the brakes real hard or the brakes are hot, it just causes a vibration. and you won't like it. You'll want them replaced.
Get it fixed.
And that's why we've decided to just sell it.
As
We
is.
didn't want to do all the work on it
Right.
because we don't use it anymore.
Because then you might as well like have it a little longer, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we haven't used it for. We've maybe put 150 miles on it in the last year and a half. So
okay.
We just don't want to keep it anymore. We just want to get rid of it.
Right. Oh yeah, the roof looks really good.
Not covered in ice, huh?
No, I mean, like, sorry, Lexi. I mean, it's not covered in snow here, but. Did the crossbars and roof rack come with it? Okay. Has there been any leaking out of the back door here? The seal? No, okay. Since looking at this van, I have looked at many videos and looked at some of the common problems with these vans, which some people did mention in the comments on my previous video. And they include the door handle problems, which this one had, door locks, the oxidation on the engine hood and the roof, but this one didn't have any on the roof. My first car was a 95 Volkswagen Jetta I had for about 14 years, and it had oxidation on the engine hood and the roof, and I had it repainted. Not that I would do that with this, but anyway, when I saw the interior, I was a little disappointed because like I said earlier in the first video, the windows were very tinted, and so the interior looked very clean. I guess things look very clean when it's very dark from the outside. And I was thinking, well, I would just clean the whole thing, but then maybe I don't, because after looking at, I can't even tell you how many camper van videos that people have turned an Astro van into a camper. How many of those videos I've watched. I would just rip everything out aside from the front area. So the headliner, the carpet, and the seats really didn't matter. And the door locks probably irritated me the most because they don't even work with the key. They don't even really work all the time when you turn the engine on and off. And then that rear door, maybe that rear door lock is kind of complicated to get fixed. I don't know. But Paul, the guy's name, Paul told me that when I take it into a mechanic might sell me on a different transfer case. And I think that's what somebody was kind of referring to in their comments. Like I'm completely ignorant to a lot of the things that most things that he was talking about in the video. Okay. When he was talking leaks, in my mind, I was thinking the rear door, but he was talking in the engine. So yeah, I had no idea what he was talking about. So it might be a little painful for some of you to have watched, but the day after I was like, no way, I'm not going to do it. But then yesterday, Saturday, I thought, you know what? I was like getting really pumped because I saw somebody's video who had converted their Astrovan into a camper and they were renting it out. And I thought, I could do that. Maybe. So I bought a Carfax report. And let me just tell you, these vans, I think it just really has to do with the camper van craze. The price, so the last reported price or mileage was $146,000. It had the oil changed at Walmart a few months back. And the retail in just like good condition without everything is $8,200. Now, the guy saw me taking a picture of the door with the VIN number, And so he told me that, hey, if you're going to look up a report, you're probably going to see that there was an accident. Somebody rear-ended my wife, but it was nothing major. They just replaced the exterior bumper and then the interior bumper frame. And I was like, okay, because some idiot rear-ended me on New Year's Day years ago in my Mazda, and that was nothing major. So when I pulled the report, the Carfax, there were actually 2 rear end bumper accidents. Stand by. Ace. Ace likes to jump on the sliding glass door to get out, and he was just out. So yeah, in 2014 and 2016, there was a rear end accident, and both times the airbags did not deploy. So Paul has been the only owner since he purchased it, like 5 months after it was brought down from Montana as a rental van to Utah. He has owned it ever since then, and he would take it on family trips, camping and long drives and everything. So there were actually 2 rear end accidents, and I was curious to know what state it came from. I thought it might be Utah the whole way through, but it was actually Montana, like I mentioned, which is fine, a dry state. So there really didn't seem to be a whole lot of rust. Bob, don't ask Bob. Hush. Where was I? Yeah, don't ask Bob said that the underneath looked pretty good in terms of rust. As good as I could record it. So I plugged in the current condition, what I guesstimated to be fair. I wouldn't say, maybe the engine is good. It is the Vortex engine, which some comments said was really good. But I put fair because of the interior. And the price, instead of the $8,200 that it first estimated to be, so it's a 4.3 liter V6, 190 horsepower, 250 foot-pounds of torque. With the accidents, it values the vehicle at $5,960. I don't even think my Mazda 2013 would be valued that high. Pretty surprising. So I thought, maybe it'll be an investment. When I talked about getting an overhaul, when I replied to somebody's comment about getting an overhaul on the engine, I just meant having a mechanic do an overhaul look on the engine. But then I just was like, I don't know. So now I'm back off of the fence in terms of getting this vehicle. But it has got my wheels spinning for maybe a different van that I use for my own personal enjoyment, but then I rent it out, because these vans they can be pretty expensive, but there's a lot of people who are renting out their own vans. So that sounds like a pretty good option to me. And I would definitely use extruded aluminum. I had started a video series on my Mazda CX-5 to redo the build interior. So it kind of everything works out. And I think that's why maybe I spotted that Astro van, is because I've removed all the seats. I bought some sound deadening mat to put in the Mazda. It's even if I remove the extra seat, the remaining seat in the back, it's still going to be a tight fit. So even though I am planning on buying property this year, I think that a van might be in my future. So I would still like to hear from everybody what they think about this Astro van and what your opinions are on cargo vans. I wouldn't do a Sprinter. I like the all-wheel drive that the Ford Transits have. And I don't think the ProMaster has an all-wheel drive. But that's something I have continually talked about wanting, is an all-wheel drive vehicle. And it will fit so much better for Ace and Lila, preferably. Ace needs to get along better with Lila, but yeah, Lila loves to get into the car. So anyway, I'd love to hear your opinion on a new vehicle, building that out for myself and then for future rentals, because I never considered doing a rental on a vehicle for outdoor enjoyment. I just had really considered only a tiny house rental, for outdoor adventure. And so maybe I will do both. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this very long video. I really do appreciate all of you. And stay tuned for my next video.